heard about this one.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the October 18th agenda meeting. South Plainfield Mayor and Council. This meeting is being advertised according to the Open Public Meetings Act and NJSA 10:4-6, with adequate notice of this meeting being provided to the borough's two official newspapers and published on the borough's website. Ms. Antonis, will you call the roll?
Yes, Councilman Benjavanga.
Here.
Councilwoman Saltini.
Here.
Councilwoman Mott.
Here.
Councilman Smith.
Here.
Councilman Willis.
Here.
Council President White.
Here.
Thank you. Can you take us through a review of tonight's agenda, please?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this evening there are no matters on for closed session. We have the approval of council minutes for October 4th. We have a proclamation pertaining to Mischief Night and Halloween. There were 15 resolutions on this evening, and we do have the addition of one more. It will be number 21-312, titled Authorizing the Emergent Services of Sanzari Incorporated for the Emergency Storm Sewer Repair of South Central Avenue in an amount not to exceed $15,100.11. And then we have three matters of correspondence and payment bills totaling $198,479.96. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to add resolution 21-312 to tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Benjavanga, seconded by Councilwoman Saltini. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Add 312. Council comments on agenda items. Seeing none. We'll open it up for public comments on agenda items only. We'll start in the room here first. Seeing none. If you're online, you can unmute yourself. I don't think there are any just call-in users. You can use the red microphone to unmute yourself, to state your name and wait until you're recognized by the clerk. Seeing none, close public portion. At this point, can I get a motion to adjourn tonight's agenda meeting? So moved.
Second.
Motion by Council President White, seconded by Councilwoman Saltini. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Seeing no reason to delay, we'll go right to the public meeting. Again, this meeting has been advertised in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-6, with adequate notice of this meeting also being provided to the borough's two official newspapers and published on the borough's website. Ms. Antonis, will you call the roll once more?
Councilman Benjavanga.
Here.
Councilwoman Saltini.
Here.
Councilwoman Mott.
Here.
Councilman Smith.
Still here.
Councilman Willis.
Here.
And Council President White.
Thank you. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation by Councilwoman Saltini. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lord, to enlighten, we ask for your wisdom tonight as we make tough decisions. Help us to be unified and wise, and bless and watch over our community. Amen.
Amen.
At this point, we'll open it up for public comments on agenda items only. Again, starting in the room first. Seeing none. Online. Seeing none. Close the public portion. Can I get a motion to approve the council minutes of October 4th agenda and public?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Benjavanga, seconded by Councilwoman Mott.
Smith.
Councilman Smith.
Yep.
Mott. Smith. Mott. Ms. Antonis, can you call the roll?
Councilman Benjavanga.
Yes.
Councilwoman Saltini.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mott.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Willis.
Yes.
Council President White.
Yes.
Passes 6-0.
All right, everyone's favorite. 2021 Mischief Night and Halloween. Whereas the children of the borough of South Plainfield are entitled to the fun and festivity associated with the observance of Halloween trick-or-treat custom that is going from door to door in the immediate neighborhood, displaying their costumes and requesting treats. And whereas the increasing possibility of accidents is an ever-present threat, and whereas the night before Halloween, Saturday, October 30th, 2021, is known as Mischief Night and has traditionally been a night when childish pranks have been played. Some of said pranks have resulted in physical harm to others as well as damage to automobiles and property of innocent homeowners. Now therefore, I, Matthew Pianish, Mayor of the Borough of South Plainfield, do hereby proclaim a curfew for 7 p.m. on Mischief Night, Saturday, October 30th, be imposed and enforced for all minor residents of the borough to protect residents and their properties. And I further proclaim Sunday, October 31st, 2021, as Trick-or-Treat Day in the borough, with all trick-or-treat activities to be conducted between the hours of 12 noon and 7 p.m. pursuant to local ordinance. I also ask that young children be accompanied by parents and other responsible adults. I further request that households indicate their willingness to welcome children by keeping their porch exterior lights on, and that youngsters only call on homes so lighted. I encourage the cooperation of all citizens, young and old, in making this a happy and safe occasion for all children. I further request that because there have been in recent years incidents of children receiving and consuming articles of food or candy that have been tampered with by the inclusion of dangerous items, controlled dangerous substances, and poison, that these incidents have been highly publicized when discovered. It is a recommendation of this office that parental supervision be extended to include insistence that children do not consume any treats until closely examined by their parents. It is further advised that all parents follow the rule, if in doubt, throw it out, whereas the evidence of tampering with packaging or services of consumable products exists. Be it resolved. We did put it up to community involvement, resident input, and
12 to 7
12 to 7 are the
fantastic,
hours.
yeah.
So, happy Halloween.
Yep, happy Halloween. Happy Halloween.
It's trick or treat.
Trick or treat. All right, can I get a motion for resolutions 21-297 to 21-312 added on the agenda meeting?
So, second.
Motion by Council President White, seconded by Councilman Benjavanga.
That's right.
Sounds good.
Ms. Antoni, can you call the roll?
Councilman Benjavanga?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faustini?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mott?
Yes.
Councilman Smith?
Yes.
Councilman Bullock?
Yes.
And Council President White?
Yes.
Passes 6-0.
Thank you. We have 3 items of correspondence. The Board of Health monthly report for September, Environmental Commission meeting minutes for August 11th, and the Recycling monthly report for August and September. Can I get a motion for the correspondence?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Smith, Councilman Smith, second by Councilman Rowland. Again, not used, can you call the roll?
Councilman Benjavanga?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faustini?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mott?
Yes.
Councilman Smith?
Yes.
Councilman Bullock?
Yes.
And Council President White?
Yes.
Passes 6-0.
It's highly critical tonight. Can I get a motion for the payment of bills of $198,479.96? So moved.
Second?
Motion by Council President White, seconded by Councilman Faustini. Ms. Conley, can you call the roll?
Councilman Benjavanga?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faustini?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mott?
Yes.
Councilman Smith?
Yes.
Councilman Bullock?
Yes.
Council President White?
Yes.
Passes 6-0.
Thank you. Mr. Miller, anything for us tonight?
Mr. Mayor, I'll give you an update on the road projects on Durham Avenue. They're working on concrete and curling work and some storm sewers. Hutchin Road, they're finishing up the concrete work over there. That should be done this week. And then they're scheduled to mill and pave next week. The 2021 road project, the contractor's still working on Durham Ave. As soon as he gets done with that, he's going to be over there, and actually in the interim, he may start doing some work over there for, before he finishes on Durham. That progress.
Thank you, Ms. Antoni.
Progress, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Cullen.
Yes, Mayor. You know, one of the things I just mentioned here for the crowd, the emergency that we had tonight, what that really was is, it's a road project that we had partially go in and video the storm sewer lines, fully everything else. You don't necessarily always capture everything. And those were the roads that are actually going to be done by PSE&G. So PSE&G is going through, they're doing the roads, and obviously they're doing these roads for their trench repair. But inevitably, they come across a storm sewer basin or a storm sewer pipe that's the municipality's responsibility that was coming. Now, we found 2 or 3 right before they came in and paved and were able to fix. And I think that was done by, Fisher. But these were one of the ones where, you know, they had all their equipment there, and, you know, we didn't have much time to go out and do anything else. Tonight, you approved 21-299, which was the best practices survey. Scoring was 18, we have a better than score of 15. It's really just a state survey. You know, they measure things like, you know, most everything on the borough is compliant with. There's a lot of things on there that aren't applicable to us. We don't necessarily have fire districts. There are some questions in there regarding, that they want to score regarding, do we have public electronic charging stations for cars? So there's a lot of things like that in this, so there's some things that are applicable to us. I mean, that would be applicable to us, but that's something that we don't have, so that would be a no under the survey. But I just want to let everyone know, it's a survey. It can affect some small amount of our state aid, but it won't have any effect or not. And I just also want to make everybody aware that earlier in the year, we authorized refunding of our 2012 general improvement bonds in order to do it at a better interest rate, and that was authorized in bond ordinance 2191, and we'll be coming out to the market very soon. With that, Mayor Carter.
Thank you. Mr. Rizzo.
Progress, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Smith.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I would like to thank the library for their, pumpkin patch thing that they had this past weekend. A lot of children and families were out there buying pumpkins, painting pumpkins, and stuff like that. I would ask the press that's here today to please acknowledge the Library Commission for doing such thing for our residents and stuff, and the children. It was very nice of them to do what they did. So I just like to make sure that they are recognized for everything they're doing. And with that, Mayor Parker.
Thank you. Councilman Benjamin.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to wish Councilwoman Mott a happy birthday tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Two councilwomen this month that have the birthday, so happy birthday to both of you, and with that, Parker.
Thank you, Councilwoman Felstein.
Right now we're having basketball and wrestling sign-ups have started. So sign-ups, if you haven't and you're still interested. Trunk or treat is going to take place in addition to your regular trick or treating on Halloween. The Public Celebrations Committee is sponsoring a trunk or treat event over at Veterans Park. Sign-ups will be in advance on the community pass system and will actually open next Monday, which is the 25th. So if you have a family that you'd like to bring some kids over to do some trunk or treating, sign-ups will be next week, and that will take place on Halloween between the hours of 12:30 and 4. At 12:30, we're going to do a special time slot from 12:30 to 1 for anybody who wants to come who has special needs children. We'll keep everything a little bit quiet and a little bit more low-key for trick-or-treating during the first half hour of the event. And then the regular typical trick-or-treating will begin at 1 p.m. till 4 p.m. And I did want to say thank you to the school and to the Board of Ed for doing outreach to the community to collect gift cards for families that were affected by Ida. Last total I had was $1,400, and that came in directly from the school. So I just want to say thank you.
It's actually
Over 15 now? Okay. All right. So I just wanted to put that thank you out there as well. And with that, progress.
Thank you, Councilwoman Mott.
Progress, Mr. Mayor.
Excellent. Councilman Woollard.
I just want to follow up on Councilman Smith. The library had a great fall festival this Saturday. The weather was beautiful. They had games and pictures and food. Everybody had a good time, so I just want to thank them. It's a lot of work to get that all together. They did a great job. And with that, progress.
Thank you, Council President Wood.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Just one item. I know next to Aldi's, LA Fitness has now started their build out on their building. A lot of questions are being asked because now the wood's being taken off of the front of the building. So that's what's going there. It's going to be a full complement fitness center, similar to the one across town with a pool and everything. But you'll see that the front end is open and there's a fence around it now. That's because they've officially started building everything out, and hopefully they'll be closing that out by the beginning of next year. Progress.
Thank you. Just an update on COVID-19. So over the last 24 hours, Middlesex County has reported another 270 cases. Total pandemic to date of 104,378. 3 additional deaths in the last 24 hours for a total of 2,159. In South Plainfield, there were 5 additional cases to bring our total to 3,283. So vaccines are out there, but obviously there's still some impact to the community and to the nation this point, we'll open it up for public comments, anything on your mind. Again, we'll start with the room first. Yes, ma'am. You just state your name and address for the borough clerk.
Okay, Carol Cristato, 2005 Green Avenue, South Plainfield. Okay, I was here 2 weeks ago, and right now I'm very disappointed, frustrated, not only from myself, but from my neighbors. They all showed up again. I had to tell them that I heard nothing from anybody. I was promised 2 weeks ago that somebody would get back to me. I know that you said something about the code enforcement, the building inspector, the health, maybe even some legal. No, but even if somebody had said, we're working on it, or even a negative, we can't do anything. Nothing. And all my neighbors called, and I said, literally, I'm sorry, I heard nothing. Please come to the meeting, we'll try to find out. Now, I did a little research on it, it 1 minute. Very disappointing and even more distressing. I just read that the property values of our houses are going to go down. I have a quote here. A valued house at $250,000 could lose $10,000 if I decide to sell today. I wouldn't get the $250,000 because of that house next door. My neighbors won't get what their houses are worth. It's a 1% drop for every 7% that value of that house is going down. This article that was written in 2019 said it definitely hurts when you have a house like this in your neighborhood. It basically says that the banks are not responsible, okay, and they don't care. They'll pay the taxes, which, by the way, they did pay, but they are not going to worry about maintenance unless we, the town, gets onto it. Unkept property next door makes the street seem less desirable to live in. I wouldn't want to move into my house. And, of course, I said that the last time, drug dealers, vagrants, squatters, I mentioned the bugs, the animals. And here's the part that I want to leave you with. If the lender doesn't cooperate, you can give the city code enforcement department a call. Code enforcement can can slap steep fines on whoever is responsible for letting the house become derelict. So my last thing is, why didn't I hear from anybody? I don't get it.
Well, for starters, I spoke to Rich. Rich said that they've done, Rich Wolf, our code official. He said that they've done a lot of work over there, that the facing that was hanging, all that's been removed. I was out there the next day, I have photos here. The lawn was cut. Obviously, I could tell that the house was abandoned. It looked like they put in new windows in the front of the house. The roof actually looked kind of new. I mean, unless I have the wrong house.
You must have wrong, there's still the two, nothing's been fixed. Those two holes or those pictures, they're still there.
Yeah, can you show her the pictures?
Yeah, it started, but they didn't finish it.
The windows are half open, half closed.
Well, without that, I could see the side window. So, from what I can tell, the light here in front of the garage is broken, right?
Right.
The side window looks like it was, but I mean,
I'm talking about the patio, the porch.
I think you were saying that the roof, when you were here the other day.
No.
And obviously, if this looks like this is here, obviously,
yeah,
it's a little bit,
right there.
Repair. But
those are all open areas. That's where the animals are going in. It's all open. That's what was the biggest thing. You have a picture of that, or I could show you another picture of that. Let me just give it to you.
And I guess they had a new bay window put in?
That's the original.
What?
The bay window was original.
Well, I mean, I can't go inside the house.
No, it's from the outside, it's on the porch. I won't bother showing it.
But
That's what I addressed.
Glenn, so Dominic was out there as well.
Well, Dominic contacted the owner,
Yeah.
and he was issuing them a couple things. One, they need to get a state representative. So he had reached out to the owner, once again notifying them that I believe he was sent the summons, but I don't want to say 100% of the summons was sent out.
Okay.
But both Rich and Dominic. Dominic said, once again, obviously their permits have expired, but they will do something in order to get it, if it's gonna result in the house getting fixed. But this isn't like the house that was burnt down on Sherman Avenue that we had to knock down. It's not like the house that was burnt down on Clark Lane. I mean, I'm sure you don't want to live next to it, but those homes, as you know with the insurance, it took a couple of years to get them fixed. And I realize this is going back to
2005.
2005.
2005. It probably knows this. I think in South Plainfield. I'd like for someone to tell me different, because I think somebody did tell me that code enforcement.
It was a new owner though, I think in 2018.
Doesn't matter.
Right.
I was fighting for this, and I had to wait 10 years, because now I can't help. New Jersey protects the owner for 10 years. That was frustrating for me. I waited. And now this owner came here with an architect. Everything was approved. Everything was great. But this is, it's just a bad situation. If somebody else had bought it, I wouldn't be standing here. It's just frustrating that somebody came in with, I don't know what intention, but it certainly wasn't to fix this house, and he made it worse. He actually made it worse. I would have preferred it just for either way it was. Then now there's spaces and animals are going in there.
Glenn, where were the animals getting it? Through the overhang on the porch?
Yeah, I guess it's the overhang on the porch.
Okay. So, I mean, we could direct Dominic to that, right? But it has to be something within code enforcement that they can, right, deem unsafe or deem a violation. We can send code enforcement back out there tomorrow.
Still there.
Yeah, we'll send them back out there tomorrow,
Okay.
and we'll have them reach out to you, but it's gotta be within, so if they've been paying the taxes, I mean, we'll have to, Paul, I mean, I don't know what else we can do. We can't direct them to fine them. They've got to do their own thing. They've got to go out there. If they see a violation, they can assess a summons, for the owner.
Can we ask Dominic to call?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
give
let's
her
ask
update
Dominic.
as
I'd like
to
to
what's
have,
going?
yes.
Yeah, we'll have him reach out to you.
And you don't have to, I'm the
No,
one
yeah.
representing,
We can tell.
So I had to keep telling them. The newspaper actually wanted to know if I heard from you.
Okay.
And
Yeah, they were definitely out there. I know Glenn, the administrator sent them out there, so both of them, and he did, inform myself and the council, so we were aware of that. I just assumed that somebody had reached out to you as well. That's my fault.
And
I
that's
shouldn't
the problem, I just want to make
Yeah.
it clear.
So-
That has always been the problem.
Right, so we will do that. We'll have Mr. D'Amico reach out to you after he's out there. I don't want to say tomorrow, but hopefully tomorrow. I don't see why he can't, but he'll get out there within the next couple of days and take a look at it.
Well,
No, he did go out there. They went out there 2 weeks ago.
I'll go there tomorrow, you can give me the report. If you're the representative, I'll go out and look at it.
yeah, it's funny that tomorrow, the Wednesday, I'm no good.
Well, let's just have Dominic get out there and whoever needs to take a look at that porch and see if that's in violation of anything, which I would imagine it is, right? If there are animals going in and out and the doors are open, I don't know if the health department needs to be
I think that's
reached out to as well. So we can have John go out there and take a look at
But
that.
if you have my cell phone, even if you leave me a message or in my email, that's all I was looking for.
That's fine.
Something from the email, you have my email in there?
So give me your email.
All right, CC615@AOL.com. And then my cell phone number, you can put a message,
You want to put that on record?
Was this, or this has to all be recorded?
I don't.
Okay, you okay?
908-406-2464.
246.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just have John take a look at that as well with the,
CC615 AOI.
I appreciate that.
Great.
Thank you. And you have a picture, you want to keep the picture back? You can keep
Yeah,
that.
let me keep the picture.
Okay, very good.
now, Paul, I guess if he goes and fixes the overhang, I mean, I don't know what else is gonna be able to be done.
It's up to the officials,
Yeah,
with the health code, construction code, property maintenance code.
yeah.
If they determine they're in compliance with all those codes, there's really nothing we can do.
Right.
If we're not,
And we can fix this, you know, the problem, once again, it doesn't stop it from being abandoned.
Right.
You know, I mean, it just doesn't, you know, I mean, once that happens, it's not the best looking house in town, but, you know, they said, the houses, I can only, since I've been here, I can only name 2 houses that we were able to knock down. One was the Clark Lane house that was a burnt out Hulk, and it was charred and everything else.
Yeah, those are homes where there was clearly no investment in that. I don't know why the gentleman bought it, started working on it, and then somehow stopped and doesn't want to sell it to somebody else who may want to take over that project. That defies logic. But, I mean, we can go out there and have the officials take a look at it. If anything's outside of code, they have the authority to fine that owner. And beyond that, there's not too much that can be done as far as finding an owner. I think the ultimate solution is for him to fix the house up and sell it, because there's plenty of people looking to move into the suburbs, as we all know.
We're actually having the same issue with Huge House on Woodland Avenue right now. It's similar kind of thing where, in this case, they ran out of money, and you know, and they changed the topography. It's flooding all the people on, you know, side and behind them, and we're trying to get stuff from them. The home is probably one of the largest houses in town, so.
Yeah.
We do have a few places. This is a Woodland Bike, it was Bergen, getting close to Oak Trail. So.
All right, anyone else? Leanne?
Larry Wzdowski, 2308 Killeen Avenue. You all remember my problem with my neighbor with the tree.
Yes.
At the end of the meeting, I suggested that we make codes or laws to protect people in the future. Now, why can't we do that when this home's been abandoned for 15 years?
Well,
it's a problem. You can fine them, you pay the fine,
yes.
You pay the taxes. It's still going to be like that for another 5 years.
Correct.
It's just going to present problems. Is there any way of forcing?
I mean, there's the attorney. What would the proposed law be? I don't know what the proposed law would be, right? I mean, unfortunately, I can buy a house in any community, keep it up to the bare minimum standards, right? If it's beyond that, if it's below that, then code enforcement in the town can obviously fine me, which is what we're saying here. If they're beyond that, then they can be fined. But other than that, if I want to buy a house and leave it vacant, I don't know what the remedy is.
Yeah, that brings the value of all the homes down.
I agree, and it's a strange situation. I don't think it happened.
Just like with my tree problem, that was strange, but.
Well, that's a little different. I mean, you got a tree, and they just, it was on their property, and they really didn't care that it affected you, and that's a little bit of a grayer area. This is a home again that as long as they fix what we suppose is wrong with the overhang.
A lot more than that.
Well, I mean, again, that's going to be for the code officials to determine.
Well,
right?
a lot of it is, I hate to use the word cover up, but the roof wasn't done right, like I mentioned about the ice barrier. It was ripped.
But again, I mean, you can have a poorly installed roof until it triggers some kind of code, enforcement issue. Then I don't know.
Now, all you hopefully have children, and one day they're going to move out and buy a house. Now, you wouldn't want them buying a house like this.
No.
And, not your children, but anybody wanting to buy this house. Why should they have to go through the aggravation?
They shouldn't, which is why people often say, why do I need to get a permit and pay for inspection?
That's an insurance policy, that permit, in my opinion.
Well, correct. That's the reason, right? So you as a homeowner are not going and putting your own roof on, putting additions onto your house with sketchy craftsmanship, right? And then I come in as the next owner, not accusing you of not being able to build an addition, but you understand where we're going here, right? Yeah. So that I'm not then the one who's on that deck 3 years from now and it falls down and we wonder why that happened.
Now 3 years ago, me and Carol were in the street and Rich from Code Enforcement came down, had the police department come down and do a walk through the house because it was open. Rich got it locked up. And as far as I know, from that day on, neither the police department or code enforcement had checked the house to see if it was secured. Now, once in a while, I will walk around that house, make sure the doors are locked. Carol, she takes her garbage out early in the morning, goes for a walk. You know, anything can happen.
Right.
But no one's actually come back and checked.
Well, I mean, again, it's legally owned by an individual. Why they're leaving doors unlocked? Yeah. I mean, I don't want to speak for the police department, but I don't know that we drive around and look at every resident. Again, I understand this is, I don't want to call it an abandoned house because it's technically not. Somebody owns the house and has some minimal upkeep on here, right? So it's not technically abandoned.
The minimum upkeep is getting the lawn cut.
You're probably not too far off. But again, I mean, if they're, where does this owner live, in California or wherever?
Yes.
So, I mean, again, I don't understand the logic here. You buy a house, you put some money into it, you then leave. He's got to be dealing with individuals in the state that either have access to the house, have the ability to lock that house. I don't know what his situation is, right? But it's not, again, something that normal individuals do. And so I don't think the police department is going to drive around looking at houses that just might be open. It's not something we normally find. Again, it's not an abandoned house.
But it is also public safety
Well,
problem.
so if you're noticing activity in this house and you guys know that
I would call immediately.
Exactly, that's my point.
But I walk around it once in a while, like I said, to make sure no one broke a window or kicked the door in. And, you know, they'd be living in there for, you know, shelter.
Right. Again, we would expect this to happen on an abandoned house, not on a house that somebody invested money in and is clearly looking to fix it up and sell it. So, you know, I'm not quite sure what's going on here with this owner, what their intentions are. But to the extent of the law, we can go in there and make sure that they are keeping up what they need to. And the code officials can go in there and find them, the health department can go in there, and if there are animals getting into the house or whatever else might be going on there,
well, he closes it all up, and he doesn't want to do any more work to it. It's going to sit that way for how many years?
It could sit that way forever, right? I mean, if I were to buy the house, you can air condition and heat homes remotely nowadays. I mean, I don't know why he'd want to do that, but again, if he's paying the taxes and he owns the house outright and he's keeping it up to, again, whatever the minimum standards are, there's no violations that are evident on there. We can't force him to move into the house or sell the house to somebody else.
I like the idea of forcing him to move in and let him live there.
Yeah, you're probably right? But I mean, again, I don't understand why somebody would do that. I mean, maybe he's got so much money that this doesn't matter to the individual.
Well, he's paying the taxes.
I'll send him my business card.
Yeah, I mean, to me.
I'll send him my business card.
Yeah. To me, you would think you would just either move on, and I'm sure somebody else will buy that house, fix it up and flip it.
I mentioned it to him.
Yeah.
I told him everything that was wrong with the house. And for him to do anything, he said he has to get it cheap enough, and we just tear it down and start over again.
Right.
Because everything is wrong. It didn't pay to try to fix another man's mistake.
Right.
But the way the homes are today, there's no money in it.
Yeah. And again, I mean, Dominic, our building official says they're expired permits, so I don't know where, clearly he's got a lot of work if they were even to defer that.
There's a lot of work that
I don't know about a roof, but I don't think there's an inspection on the roof, right?
Well,
is there?
Like I mentioned the last time, they put the ice barrier up. It was up there too long, the wind got a hold of it, ripped about 3/4 of it off. They stapled it back up, which is now useless.
Yeah.
When they shingled it, for some reason, 80% of the shingles are now buckled in the heat.
Yeah.
They didn't use any, on the vent pipes, the boots, to stop the, rain from going in. So as it's raining, water's getting in there and doing damage little by little. And once the rot will start, it's like cancer, it just keeps going.
Yeah, I mean, I would leave that to our building official. I mean, if he can determine that.
When I just mentioned the building department or code enforcement, didn't know it because they didn't see it. I did.
Right.
And if I mentioned it to the building department. I assume they went down there, but they never got back to me.
we'll follow up with Dominic. Again, legally, I don't know what Dominic can do if somebody, you know, is saying that.
It's the code.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean.
All right, I thank you very much.
I just have a question.
Sure.
You mentioned the in-state representative. Is that something legal that we have to have done then? Can we follow up on that?
Correct. Dominic was following up on that. A call went out there, but I'm happy.
Because that could help. That could help. And so I just want to make it clear, if he doesn't have to, renew or get new permits then? Is that what you're
No,
saying?
his permits have
Because they
expired. Yes, it is expired. But if somebody was to come forward to reapply it, they would
But he
consider.
could leave it like, that's what I heard the mayor say. Literally, this could stay like this forever as long as, he said, whatever is on the law books now for the property, that's the.
Correct, the minimum standard.
We're stuck. In a sense, it could happen. It's just saying, oh, well.
It's maintained to those standards.
Then we're stuck. That's what's disappointing.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that somehow we can find enough things that we can get around it, or, you know, there's gotta be some loophole. I'm looking because I think he's using that house as something that's not right. That's all, and we're all alluding to that, and I'm not gonna say anything else, and there's something going on. It's not logical. You do not have a house,
Right.
pay taxes, I wish I could do that.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. It doesn't make any sense.
It's not right.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I appreciate you getting back to me. Thank you.
No problem. Anyone else? Nope.
My name's Gary Romero. I'm at 2300 Saloon Avenue. I'm across the street from the house that's in question.
Okay.
What is the definition legally for abandonment? Because to me, the house is abandoned. It has mold issues going on. There's no electric in there. It gets rainwater and it floods. So within the last.
That's the difference. I mean, legally, I don't think you're gonna find a legal definition of abandoned in terms of, it doesn't legally have an impact in terms of abandoned. You're talking about disrepair, and condition of the house. Abandonment usually suggests there's no one doing anything.
Okay, well, basically, no one isn't doing anything except for the.
Paying taxes and so
Yeah.
on, mowing the lawn.
Mowing the lawn.
Doing the basics.
Well, he failed inspection on inside, so that's on record with the town. How long does he have to, make the repairs on those, failed inspections?
That's something that construction official, building inspector.
You don't know what that? More than 2 years?
I don't know.
Because that's abandonment to me.
I don't know the answer to your question.
And the health issues affect our whole street. If there's mold going on in that cellar, no one has been inspecting that out.
Official would have to inspect, and road and
Well, let's get it done.
Mm-hmm.
That's 2 weeks we waste.
I will say, Rich was there. Rich said when he looked at the basement doesn't flood. Because it's dry. So, but once again, I'm gonna have Rich.
It'll flood when it rains because there's no electric to run the sump pump. So it's gonna have rainwater in there. And at least you can smell the mold. Someone needs to get inside.
I don't know if it was inside.
It's just probable cause. You know, the health official has to make that determination.
I smell mold mostly every day.
Health official has to make that determination.
That's the complaint
Mm-hmm.
for the health official.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Terry Alexa, I actually live at 2800 Maple, but our house is on the corner of Saline.
Mm-hmm.
We have lived at 3 residences in South Plainfield over the past 20 years.
Okay.
We moved here to downsize. We moved in, it was a flip. They did a nice job on this, and we have great neighbors that we met 2 years ago. So this past year, I was in my garage, and I moved something to grab something for the lawn, and there was a rat this big in my garage. Okay. So my husband into our wall, he had to pull it out, he pulled his head out. Like, this is not something that, you know, it's not sanitary, it's unsafe, so we had to deal with that. I see, since my side window faces diagonally into that house, I see people. I see an Infiniti car, people getting out of it, and with a key going into that residence, okay? So there is somebody going in there, okay? I'm not, you know, this is not, I'm not, you know, I'm not law enforcement, but I notice these things. There's somebody in this area going into that house.
Are they there for a while, or can you tell?
You know what, I mean, I see someone with a key going into that house. There is somebody in this area connected with, I guess, the owner going into that house. You know, the house was fine when we first moved in. We talked to the neighbors, they were telling us the history. Then these people came in to try, like, okay, it was fine the way it was, if they just would have, you know, fixed it up and, you know. So it's not good, it's unsafe, but there is somebody going there into that house. So, you know, there's rats coming across the street, we have pets, it's unsanitary. I feel like it's being brushed under the rug. You guys are not doing anything about it. Carol's been great trying to get everything done, and as somebody in that neighborhood, it's ruining us. When we bought the house, it brought the value of the neighborhood up. Everybody else keeps their house. Leon, Carol, you know, Sue, they all keep their, and it's a nice little street. It's a dead-end street, which everybody comes down and turns around. I think we should have a no outlet, like, sign there, because it says dead end, and I cut my branches off, like, the sign, but people still come down all the time. I just think it would be really appreciated. Doesn't seem like, you know, all these little things. If you had this in your neighborhood, how would you feel?
We would feel the same way, and unfortunately would be up to the same circumstances, right? So this is another thing that, Glenn, you can talk to John. So if there's reports from the neighbors of rats in the area, you know, maybe that gives him, again, I don't know that he can, you know, necessarily 100% tie it to that house. It seems reasonable.
I can't get a exterminator for my house when it's coming from this house.
You shouldn't have to, right? So, and that's what, so the health department will go there and take a look at it this week, hopefully tomorrow, and, you know, they'll report back.
These people that are going into the house?
Well, you're saying they're entering with a key.
Yes, they're going to the front door.
Okay.
Okay, so maybe I'm stalking a little bit, but I'm in my kitchen window, I see a car pulling up, getting out of the house and going into.
But there's nothing illegal with that, so they pull in.
But there's somebody in the area, so.
Yes, there might be, right? But so again, the individual in California can own the house.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's probably no record of who that individual is.
That was in the front of my lawn, that was a rat.
That's true. Did you take pictures of the rat when you pulled his head off? Yeah, he had to pull his head off.
Yeah.
And that's blood all over the place. That was in my.
We don't want to. No, we don't want to. It's COVID. I'm supposed to be passing. Poor lady, so. I don't know.
I do.
Maybe next time we'll bring you the headless. You can see the headless.
It's a big one, I'll say that.
So,
Wait till you see the rat.
Glenn, maybe you can, obviously, I don't think John needs to see the picture, but I think he can get the point across that. I don't think the health department needs to see the picture, but I think we can communicate the point across that there's been rodents in the area.
On what Garrett just said about the mold, before that house was, worked on, it had mold. I reported it to the Board of Health and the building department.
Okay.
It still has mold because there's no power. The as a French drain with the ground pressure, water's gonna come in.
Right.
Because I mentioned in the last meeting, the basement floor is concave, water's gonna sit there.
Right.
So we're gonna have a constant mold problem.
That, we have to check with the health official, so if you've reported that, he should have a record of that. Again, I don't know what the protocols are for mold in somebody's basement, what legal authority he has.
Access.
Yeah, or access. I mean, we've got those questions we'll have to have for the health department.
I'd be willing to sit down with the building department and
Yeah.
health department and tell them everything I've seen
Absolutely.
to help the situation go away.
You can certainly do that. I mean, it would make sense to call. You can Dominic D'Amico. You could certainly call the building department and make an appointment, and the health department for that matter as well. I mean, you can sit and meet with all of them. There's no reason why you can't.
He's on vacation through next Wednesday.
All right,
The health department. Yeah, but maybe we use Middlesex County, so they should be able to send somebody else out. This isn't something that should wait until next week. So yeah, just make sure we reach out to the county and now. So there should be there's not a backup that they normally have for us. They should definitely have.
Didn't assign a specific person to back up for
Okay.
this
Well,
time.
we have something that somebody needs to take a look at. Anything else from over here?
I just have
Yeah.
a question.
Sure.
I just want to understand, how.
Don, just state your name for the record.
Don Alexa, 2800 Maple Avenue.
Thank you.
I just wanted to understand, like, how we are going to be notified as of the progress or the action.
I'm getting.
Yeah, you can.
CCT 615 at AOL or.
Yeah.
Carl.
You can go through the administrator. I mean, you can always call, but I mean, I don't know this normal protocol that if somebody has a health department or really a complaint against them, that they normally just go and broadcast that out. But you can certainly work with the administrator and he'll keep you.
Kind of your leader, so I'm gonna work right with that.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Sure. Thanks, Don. Anyone else? On this side of the room? Ms. Boyle.
Debbie Boyle, Van Fleet. I'd like to thank the St. Diocese Temple for once again donating $1,100 worth of items to social services. It wasn't only canned goods and dry goods, it was also personal items. And that was in honor of Upendra Chicagula's birthday. And thank you to Senior Center Director Trio Lano for accepting that on behalf of Heather Barry. And also, the Cultural Arts Commission is doing the Scarecrow event outside on the Borough lawn. If anybody would like to make a scarecrow, please contact the commission. There's an email, and they'll reserve a spot for you. You can't just go and put a scarecrow. You have to contact them first. So it'll stay up for 2 weeks, and that's another great event. So thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. Mariam, I do see you online, so let's just make sure there's no other questions in the room. Okay. Mariam, I see you. You can unmute yourself.
Hi, so my name is Miriam Rizvi, at 164 Somerset Avenue. I don't actually know anything about meetings. This is for an assignment. We were required to ask 2 questions on like something based off the agenda. So I saw that there was like purchase of body cameras for the police department. I was wondering if you could answer how many are being purchased and also if all personnel is required to wear them.
I mean, the chief's here, but I think I can answer that. We're purchasing, body cameras for everyone, and I think we're getting 2 donated, and I think we're gonna have a pending total of 62 or 62. 62.
And they are out today. So everybody's wearing them today.
You able to hear that? All officers, and they're in use today. 62.
Okay, thank you.
Did you have a second question?
Was that a two-part question?
Oh, yeah, those are both, okay.
That's both of them? Okay. Anyone else? Okay, seeing none, we'll close the public portion. At this point, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Smith, seconded by Council President Dwight. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Have a good evening.